Well, I would like to welcome you all. I'm Tyler Loest. I'm the Associate Vice President for Advancement. This is the highlight of our Lakeland University's virtual Scholarship Appreciation Week. And so we hope you give this a taste of what the traditional scholarship luncheon is like. We plan to return to that event this fall. Also, those of you joining us, I want to thank you for your support. 100% of students here at Lakeland University receive some form of financial aid. So it's thanks to you that all these great students that will be joining us today are able to attend Lakeland and, of course, make our mission accessible. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce our host today, Dr. Rachel Ware Carlton. She's the Dean for the William R. Kellett School and Director of Graduate Music. She has some great questions that have been submitted in advance by our viewers. And of course, we have 3 scholarship recipients with us today that will help answer these questions. During the Q&A, I should also let you know, you're able to submit some questions through the question and answer box found at the bottom of your screen. We will try to answer as many questions as we are able. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Dr. Ware Carlton.
Well, thank you, Tyler, and thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be here with you all. And most importantly, it is great to be with our students to have a conversation today. I know I'm looking forward to that very much. And so to kick us off, I'm going to have each of our students introduce themselves. And for our students, this is the closest you will have to a pop quiz today. I know you're out of class to do this webinar with us. So I'm going to ask you a 3-part question and see if you can remember all 3 parts as we begin. I'm going to ask you all what your name is, what your major is, and your class year. I lied, 4 parts, as well as what scholarship you have received. So those are the 4 things I'd like you to share. Amber, you're first up on my screen. Would you be able to share your name, major, class year, and what scholarship you have received?
My name is Amber Walker. My major is communication with a minor in writing. I am a senior this year. I actually finished in about a month and a half now, I think. The scholarship is the Fred Kohler Memorial Scholarship.
Fantastic. Thanks, Amber. And I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit later about what it's like to be right at the tail end of your Lakeland experience. So thank you for joining us today. Robert, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Robert Grimes. My scholarship is the Sheboygan County Scholars Scholarship. My major is K-8 education, and I'm a freshman this year.
Fantastic. Robert, you passed the quiz. Thank you for that and for that information. We look forward to getting to know you throughout this conversation. Last but not least, Chastity.
Hi, I'm Chastity Bradford. My major is sports management and leadership with a minor with business administration. I got the Moreland and Founders Scholarship, and I'm a senior this year, so I'll also be graduating in the next month and a half.
Wow, fantastic. Well, an early congratulations to you as well, Chastity. So, Chastity, I'm going to pick it up with you. With the scholarship that you have received, could you share a bit, what does that scholarship support mean to you, and what does it mean to even your family as you're pursuing and completing your collegiate education?
Yeah, it means a lot to me just because like I come from fairly big family. I have a twin sister who also goes here. So within my family, obviously it's hard to get even one kid through college. So just 2, and it's really hard. So just going through that just helps so much just with financially, me being able to get my education. And I also play basketball at Lakeland. So that just helps me further my career as well. So it just helps so much. I'm just happy that I'm able to get an education and just go out and better my family and better myself as well.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Amber, I'm going to ask you the same question again, as you're looking back now, as you're coming to the tail end of your Lakeland undergraduate experience. What did scholarship support mean to you, and what did it mean to your family?
Well, for me, it meant that there was a lot of a financial burden that was taken off, because I know with what I want to do, I have to go further. I can't just end it with a high school. And so being able to get the scholarship made it easier to be able to represent myself and show myself that I can still do it, even though there's a financial burden regardless, but it makes it a lot easier and it makes it less of a burden, if that makes sense.
Interesting. And that ability, knowing you want additional education to not carry that same financial load. Excellent. Robert, I'm going to ask you a kind of twist on that in terms of what your and what your scholarship means to you and your family. But I'm curious, did your scholarship affect your ability to choose Lakeland?
It pretty much made Lakeland the #1 option for me because it took away a lot of the financial problems that I would have had going to college, and it allowed me to stay closer to home. So now I just commute to school.
Fantastic. Excellent. So we're still coming out of really interesting times, aren't we? Yeah, having lived through a global pandemic for the first time in our lifetime, which of course disrupted higher education in such a huge way. And this year we've been back in person. I'd love to hear a little bit about some of your experiences with that. Chastity, what was it like to be back on campus this year after having been away due to COVID disruption?
Personally, just amazing. I'm a people person. I hate like screen stuff. Like this is funny that we're on the screen, but I'm just very personal human being. So I just love interacting with others, interacting with my professors, my advisors. So just being back on campus and having that family feel like in person physically, it's just so amazing to me. And I'm so happy that we're back.
Fantastic. Excellent. And Robert, you're in a little bit of a unique situation as a freshman incoming. So the disruption happened for you when you were still in high school. What was that like to transition out of a much more virtual hybrid-like land to being able to be face-to-face here at Lakeland for this year as your first year of your undergrad experience?
It was a super nice transition because I got to know a lot more people than I would have just staying online or going hybrid. And I also got to hang out more with my friends.
Yeah, that means a lot, doesn't it? Absolutely. So, Amber, I'm curious, when you think about, kind of going through that COVID transition and whatnot, what kind of unexpected challenges did you face due to that disruption? And how has that impacted your experience here at Lakeland?
It definitely took off the hands-on experience, which I've gotten so accustomed to. I think that was probably the hardest part, being able to, ask questions and not have to worry about if there was going to be a technical glitch with which happened a lot. So, but I think that was pretty much the one good thing about being back is we get that hands-on thing. We get that, that classroom feel back. We get that normality back at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's one thing that I think, all of us on the call can agree that pursuing a college degree is not necessarily a straight line. It's not necessarily every next step is abundantly clear. There's always unexpected challenges that come up. Chastity, what is maybe one unexpected challenge that you experienced throughout your time here at Lakeland, and how did that help you grow?
I guess like one unexpected challenge is talking to new people. Like it takes me a hot second to warm up to people, but it's more of the fact is like interviews type based, like those like serious, because I'm a goofy person, so I can talk to anyone. But once it gets to like a serious thing, whew, it's hard for me. So just learning how to just be professional in that sense and not really be nervous as much. Like you can tell when I'm nervous. Now that I'm talking to you right now, like I'd be nervous 3 years ago. Now it's just another walk in the park. So just one of those things for sure.
Chastity, that's really wonderful. I'm curious, what experiences at Lakeland do you think helped you grow in that area?
Probably, I mean, a lot of my classes, just talking to professors, like since I'm a senior now, I've had so many different internships, but I had to interview for those internships. So just going through that, and then I had EXP 100. We had to do a fake interview with those. So those just helped me stepping stones, especially just now that I'm a senior. It helped a lot because I'm interviewing for graduate assistant positions so that I can further my career in athletics, but as a coach, but also getting my master's.
Fantastic. And that's really interesting. That EXP 100 class you reference is it's a foundational course of the kind of prereq into our cooperative education program. That's neat to hear that impact that that's had. Robert, I'm curious from your perspective in your first year, what might be an unexpected challenge that you have faced and how do you see yourself growing as a result?
I didn't expect the first week of our spring semester to be online. That was really worrying for me because this is tennis season now and musical season. So I was unsure of what the future would hold.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, One of the things that in my time at Lakeland has been a hallmark of my experience, and I'm curious if it has been for each of you, is I have found Lakeland to be a place of extreme kindness. From small interactions to the largest needs that we might have. I'm kind of curious to hear from each of you what types of unexpected acts of kindness might you have experienced at your time here at Lakeland, either in the last year or throughout your experience. Amber, I'm going to start with you. What kind of kindness have you experienced as a member of this community?
There's been a lot more generosity. I feel, I mean, being from South Florida myself, this is kind of a whole new atmosphere for me. So, but yeah, I think that there's a lot more kindness, a lot more positivity, a lot more togetherness, a lot more caring going on than what I've seen elsewhere.
Excellent. Excellent. Chastity, how about you?
Oh yeah, going off of what Amber said, just like generosity and niceness. I'm from like 15 minutes from Detroit, so I'm not used. I coming in, I wasn't used to people like saying hi to me, even though I didn't know them or like smiling at me. Like back at home, we just keep it pushing, just mind our own business and call it a day. And then I think, like if I went to a big school, I wouldn't have gotten probably all these internships. Like teachers and my advisors, even my coaches, like they were honed in the fact that like there's more after college, more after sports, and they honed in and helped me with that because at first all I thought of was just I'm just an athlete, but it really helped me further my ability to be like I can be a professional. I am more than just an athlete. I'm a person. I'm a student and stuff like that. So I think that that is just amazing.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you for sharing that. Robert, how about you in your time here at Lakeland so far? What kind of kindness have you seen or experienced?
One of the best parts of coming to Lakeland is how kind people are, and one example of that would be on my first day at coming to Lakeland, I had choir class, and I could not find the choir room for the life of me. It's like it's right in the middle of campus, but I just kept doing like laps around it, so I had to find somebody, and they helped me find the choir building. Yeah.
My gosh, I bet you probably most of us on this call have had that experience at some point at the beginning of a semester. I'm glad that someone was able to get you that help. What a great story. So both Chastity and Amber, I've heard you both as you're coming to the end of your experience here, of your undergrad degree at Lakeland, talk about going on and pursuing another degree or continued education. I'd love to hear about that. What motivates you to continue your education? Amber, I'll start with you.
I kind of just want to be able to better understand, to take my career choice to a deeper level, to be able to not just know some of the aspects, but to know the entire surroundings with it. And so I feel that if I keep going, even after Lakeland, I'll get that knowledge, I'll get that backstory, I'll get that presentation of it as well.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. And Chastity, how about you? What's motivating you to say this education thing? I'm not done yet.
Yeah. So honestly, it took me a while to think about that because personally, not not the school type person, but like with continuing my education, like I'm always willing to learn. Just the classroom is not my thing to learn. But with that, it's just one day if coaching, I want to stop coaching. I also want to work for the NBA. And in that, I need to learn different sales techniques and just what happens in the business world. So just, I guess, always wanting to learn, ready to go, because I never know what the future holds. And if I'm already knowledgeable about that, then my possibilities are endless.
Absolutely. Just that spirit of lifelong learning is what I'm hearing, which I know is kind of the embodiment of one of the values we try to instill here at Lakeland. So that's great to hear. Now, Robert, you're at the beginning of your undergraduate journey, but what's motivating you to say, I know I've got a steep hill to climb, but I'm ready for this and I'm going to see this through to the end?
I'm motivated by a need to help others because I worked a couple of years ago at summer school before COVID, and I enjoyed like helping little kids just find the classroom and learn different sports and stuff. So that's what's motivating me, just to help others.
Fantastic. I love that. Again, you're connected to our mission here at Lakeland. So that's great to hear. So we've been talking quite a bit about academics, appropriately so, but I'd love to hear from each of you about some of your experiences outside of the classroom here at Lakeland. What other activities have you been involved in, and how has that shaped your experience? And actually, I'm going to go in the reverse. Robert, what activities are you involved?
I'm part of the tennis team. I did badminton club for a little bit, and I'm on the musical. And the tennis team it's a lot of fun because we just went on a trip to Iowa to do a couple matches. We lost all of them, but it was still a lot of fun.
Oh, that's fantastic. Amber, how about you?
With me, I was inducted into NSLS my first fall semester here. So there's been a lot of society structuring there. I was also a part of the school paper for 3 semesters, so I've got that journalistic aspect. I've got a book that's been published, one that's in the process. And I am fixing to take part in helping write a screenplay.
Wow, that's neat. Fantastic. Excellent. And Chastity, how about you? What other kind of outside of the classroom activities have you been involved with? Obviously sports.
Yeah, yeah, I am an athlete, so I mean, I'm on the women's basketball team, so we do a lot around. But I'm also part of SAC, which is Student Advisory Committee. I'm the treasurer. Because of COVID, we haven't done much recently, but like we before COVID, we helped just get canned goods for people in need, things like that. But I also go to other people's sporting events, just supporting, giving that family atmosphere, and then I help with other organizations. Like we just got a Latino organization recently. It's fairly new, so I try to help out as much as I can, especially with the sororities and frats. Like I try to help them as much as I can, just because I know if I need help, they would do the same for me. So why not? Just that generosity is honing around Lakeland, and that's what I've learned a lot too. So I always want to be somewhat there, not just with basketball.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing that. So as a liberal arts institution, meaning we experience courses across a wide range of disciplines in each of our majors, I'm curious to hear from each of you, what is something that piqued your interest in a class that you had no idea you would be interested in? Totally unexpected. Amber, what might have stood out in a class that I had no idea I'd be interested in, but because I took that class, I found that to be fascinating?
If I had to choose one, it was probably public speaking, which was pre-pandemic. It had it to where it really has us look at the way we word things, the way we verbalize our opinions, and to really look at the meaning and seeing if we were hearing what we were saying, would it still come across the same way?
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. Chastity, how about you? And you look back, what was a class that you took that you had no idea, I had to take this course. I have no idea though that it would change my life, or at least get me curious about something.
Yeah, so I took so many classes. I think it's one of my communications class. I think not specifically like what class it was but the professor Charlie. It just really helped me to talk to people because we all do fillers. So saying and like it made me, I just said it, but it made me really think about how people talk and like how you, I guess, seem competent in what you're saying. And then vice versa is like listening to other people instead of listening to talk back, but listening to actually hear. That really helped me and it really sparked my interest in trying to think about how I'm doing things and how I'm communicating with others.
Interesting. That connects back to an area that you've even cited as an area of growth. So it sounds like kind of unexpected class is really one of your main takeaways, even as you're leaving Lakeland. How neat. Robert, you're at the beginning of your experience in your degree program, but I'm curious, have you experienced anything so far that it's just been unexpected that you've really enjoyed it or you want to know more?
I'd say the most unexpected part of my journey was doing public speaking with Charlie Krebs. Yeah, he's a really good teacher, and whenever you use a filler word, he makes you come to the front of the room and sit there for the entire class, and it really gets you to stop using filler words.
No wonder we're having such great communication today. So thank you to Professor Krebs for this, for this conversation. So I'm thinking about, again, our theme for today is just our experience at Lakeland that has been impacted by the scholarships you have received. So I'd like to turn our attention to that in particular and ask each of you, if you could meet your scholarship donors in person, what's something that you would say to them? So I'm going to start with you, Chastity. What would you say to your scholarship donor?
Well, first and foremost, I would always say thank you. But like, I'm very appreciative of it because that's just generosity, and you don't have to do that. So I'm like thankful from the bottom of my heart that I get the opportunity to do what I love and to learn more. And without them, I probably wouldn't even be here. So I'm just very generous, and yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Amber, how about you?
Kind of going off what Chastity says, thank you, because, without it, it wouldn't be possible for me to continue where I'm at. And I'm a first generation, because neither one of my parents went, so I'm a first generation college grad anyway with this. So it makes it to where what I want my life to go is now actually a possibility instead of not being there at all.
Thank you. And Robert.
I'd like to say thank you, and because without the scholarship, I wouldn't have gone to Lakeland in the first place, and I wouldn't have met all these amazing people.
Excellent. Well, I know we still have a few minutes together, but I do want to invite those who are in attendance. If you do have any questions for our students or things you'd like us to just have a moment to talk about, please do list those in the Q&A. We're able to take those and share those with the students and talk about what you're interested in hearing. In the meantime, while we wait, if any of those questions come in, I'm going to share one that came in ahead of this webinar with each of you, and it has to do with our physical location, actually, our beautiful campus. I'd be curious to hear, what is your favorite spot on campus? Amber, I'm going to start with you.
I don't really know if I have per se a favorite spot, but I know when I was on campus that it was probably the campus center because it seemed more of an open atmosphere. A lot, there was a lot of hustle and bustle. There was always something going on, it seemed.
Excellent. One vote for the campus center. Robert, how about you? What's your favorite spot on campus?
I would say when I found the choir room, it's the choir room, because it's so nice, and there's a little soundproof area you can go in if you have to do like a video call or something. It's just a really nice place.
Fantastic. I concur with that as a musician myself. So great choice. Chastity, how about you?
Wow. Camp Center, I do vote for that, but especially in the last year and a half, it's definitely weird. That's my sanctuary. Basketball court's there, the weight room's there, and then my coach's offices are there. So I'm there all the time, and I work there. So I'm there all day, every day.
So we know where to find you
Yeah.
in the next few months.
Right. 9 times out of 10, I will be in Ware.
Fantastic. Excellent. So we do have a question that came in that I'd love to share with each of you is, first of all, one of our participants just thanks you all for sharing your experiences. They're really enjoying hearing about your time here at Lakeland. What makes you think that your Lakeland experience might be different than an experience you would have received at another institution? So what's unique about Lakeland? Let's see, Robert, do you want to kick that off? What do you think? What's been unique so far?
I would say that the theater program is definitely unique, and the tennis program is unique because the schools I was looking at didn't have a tennis program, or I would have to have like traveled 20 miles or so to get to the tennis courts, and that just wouldn't have worked. And then the theater program, because Charlie is just such a unique director.
Yeah, oh, fantastic. Excellent. Chastity, how about from your experience?
From my experience, I applied to bigger schools than Lakeland, so I think it's just the family atmosphere. Again, I know I keep saying it, but I guess that's a good thing. But just every professor or every faculty member wants to see us students do well and to do something with our degrees. It's not like, oh, you're just check off the list type of thing. Like they'll sit down and talk to you like a human being, for one, and for two, they want the almost best for you. So I think just more of that one-on-one thing there.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. Amber, how about for you?
I'm kind of going to go right along with Chastity on this one, the family-friendly atmosphere, that it's not just, okay, here's what you got to learn, here's your testing. It's, okay, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to get there, and then we'll go from there. It's more, I kind of want to say at our own pace, but it's in a classroom atmosphere at the same time. So it kind of varies on the situation, but I think especially with this semester having not too many kids in each class that I've got, it makes it more one-on-one appropriate, if that makes sense.
Fantastic. Had individualized attention, and that kind of goes back to the whole kindness thing, doesn't it? It's that, yeah, we really care for each other and know each other here on campus. So Tyler, I think we might be kind of coming up against time. If you want to give me some guidance there, if we have time for more, or if we're ready to wrap up.
Well, unfortunately we are, but I want to thank you all, Chastity, Robert, Amber, Dr. Ware, Carlton. Thank you so much. I think I also want to thank those, of course, out there who's viewing. We thank you for joining us. This has been recorded and it will be placed on the Scholarship Appreciation website page. So feel free to come back, watch other videos. Also, we will be sending a recap with all of this on there as well. Before I leave you all, I do want to remind you all that this year marks 160 years since the founding of Lakeland University. So of course, we thank all of those of you who support students like Robert, Amber, Chastity, and of course, the generations that have come before you that keep our traditions and our university alive. So thank you all for that. Also, a quick reminder too is November 1st, fingers crossed, we'll have our in-person scholarship luncheon. So please save that date. Again, on behalf of Lakeland University, our students, our faculty, our staff, I thank you for your support and I wish you all the best for the spring and the summer. Thank you.